is from the Asia-Pacific regions, the Europe regions, as well as China. So one slot up for grabs between OpTic and DC, and it is OpTic leading 1-0. So you mentioned BSJ favoring OpTic's drafts ever so slightly here. I mean, for DC, any kind of key heroes that you feel like can step it up are going to have be like the key playmakers for them to do a lot this game?
Well, I feel like the Prophet has a tough time later on in the game because of the clockwork and the Storm Spirit offering just tons of catch on them. But those heroes, the clock needs 6 and needs hook, and the Storm Spirit needs items. So I feel like if they can make this Prophet snowball in the early game, take a lot of early towers and maybe look for some early rotations with this Rubik Slardar into the lanes of Puck and Viper, then I think that's their way of winning. I think they just have to have this Prophet have a huge impact before the Storm and Clock are able to keep picking them off.
All right, well, here we go. DC grouped up as 5. Last game we didn't see any of those big 5-man level 1 smokes. Definitely feels like a different opening for most teams because you don't have those level 1 TPs, you don't get those early wards down, the bounty rune position has changed, and this time around it does look like DC as well as maybe OpTic are going to be looking for some early like smoke moves into the enemy side of the map.
Yeah, both sides are just very careful right now. No one wants to reveal anything. They want to really hide their lanes right now. And I think the biggest thing about DC's lineup right now that worries me is the supports. I feel like if the supports aren't able to get off to a good start, it's going to be really rough for them when it comes to the mid game. They're just going to be two somewhat useless heroes that just die almost instantly to this Storm and Clockwork.
That is kind of Demon Dota though. He just picks heroes that roam together and they look to snowball off kills. That's just his playstyle. That's what they love to do, is look for kills early, snowball off of it. Like you said, if they don't get much done in the early game, I feel like it is going to be very difficult for them to get any items farmed. They can at least control the map very quickly. Is
it the same for the Ench though, where you need to be finding those kills and putting a lot of pressure on, or do you think there's like more room for error there?
I feel like he can look for kills, but more importantly, it's just, I feel like if OpTic Gaming secures their lanes, then they're in a much better spot. So I feel like he'll be more so counterplaying the support play of the DC Rubik instead, or more like you see here, he's playing around mid lane as Rubik is too. I think he'll just be trying to follow them and allow his Terrorblade and Storm Spirit to get off to a good start.
Yeah, he just comes in, goes for right clicks. I mean, you don't get any neutrals now till 1 minute in, which is perhaps a bit annoying as a jungler, but does help, as you say, secure those lanes a bit, and we'll see where some of these other lanes go. Terrorblade at bottom, not going to have the easiest time against this Nature's Prophet Slardar dual lane, even with the Dazzle support. It is a lane where DC are trying to apply some of that pressure.
Well, so far everything seems to be going pretty decently for OpTic, just leading by a little bit. Gonna have to wait and see how these supports do against each other. I think this Enchantress versus Slardar Rubik is going to be really important for both sides.
Yeah, and on the other side, it's OpTic with the Enchantress making early moves towards top. This is the Viper. This is definitely the lane that's perhaps most exposed in this early game, with both supports hovering around this mid lane, Slardar earlier in the bottom lane. So with a couple of neutral creeps, we could see some early rotations, but it's mid lane where CCNC, finding 3 heroes nearby, will not succumb to that rotation. Slardar.
He knew that was coming, the way he was positioned in that lane.
Yeah. Meanwhile, top, they're looking for the Viper with a couple of neutral creeps. Gets trapped in a cogs. The Tornado on top of him. Only needs the 1 neutral creep, and Mason going to give up first blood. Misery finding the exposed lane. Didn't even have the snare with him, but found an easy kill. And Demon, geez, Demon at this tower just going to melt to this Tornado. He needs to be careful himself. Making this lane very tough. He did drop a ward now to try and help protect this Viper from that kind of move, but not a hero that is going to necessarily fare too well if the Enchantress keeps coming up there. Mid lane, meanwhile, CCNC jumped on. It's going to take a lot of damage here, but should be A-okay.
Oh, he got a self-cancel.
Popped it too early there, as that right click was not going to finish him off as well.
That one definitely hurts. This might be a big problem for CCNC now. I think Qualifier is going to be a big problem for OpTic Gaming with that play.
Yeah, and this is where it feels like OpTic have opted to try and pressure the top lane, the Viper, but meanwhile DC say, we don't care if this Viper dies once or twice, as long as this mid lane goes really well for the Puck. This Storm is not getting much farm at all. Bottom lane, meanwhile, Terrorblade, being initial, and it's a kill at top, a solo kill at that. Zai taking out the Rubik. This Clockwork is off to a fantastic start. Top CS has a bottle already, 13 CS, 2 kills. Zai is getting kind of out of control here.
Well,
he's going in looking for more. He's got a Quelling Blade. He may just tango his way through. Nope, doesn't get all the way in there. That Tornado proving to be very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back to the whole thing about these two supports. They just really feel lackluster when you pick them together like this. No damage, really, and not exactly the greatest of core partners to set up for.
Something you mentioned, BSJ, was like you want to get this clock at the level 6 early on, because that is going to be key for dealing with like the Nature's Prophet. And with a solo lane and a Clockwork doing this well, he's going to start to snowball, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. But this is so ridiculous about the Enchantress, especially in the current patch.
Oh man, another kill.
This happened to me yesterday or 2 days ago in our match. It sets up so many easy dives, and it enables heroes like Clockwork that basically in the past struggle as like a single solo offlaner. With this like bolster that the Enchantress gives you, it just makes it so easy. She isn't spending very much time in lane, so he gets all of his levels, and then she just shows up with a creep, and it's easy pickings. Honestly, most carries are very vulnerable in this, and that's what I was talking about in the draft. It's just scary to play against.
And we're seeing a lot of these teams kind of sack their carries more and more, where it's like supports go roam on mid, 4 positions go hop out the off lane, so constantly these safe lane carries, players like Mason are kind of on their own, and well, he's getting punished for that very fact. As they are down 3 kills to nothing, it is an OpTic lead off of the laning stage. Perhaps some good news is that the puck is faring very well against the Storm, but Storm is still getting some experience, some levels, hasn't died in this mid lane, and can always fall back to the jungle a bit to farm. Rotation's constantly coming his way. The fact they can't kill the Storm to me suggests there's a lot of wasted time here with Demon and Bulba both constantly at this mid.
Yeah, that's kind of like the big issue too with this early game for DC. They're just putting way too much stock into this puck right now, and both of their side lanes not exactly doing too great. I think MS is actually doing okay though, but Viper not really having the greatest of time might be a big issue for him later on.
Yeah. Do you feel like the MSS on the Nature's Prophet should start rotating pretty early on, Steven, or is he going to be like just statically trying to win his lane?
I feel like it's such a difficult choice to make, because when you're against a hero like Terrorblade, you're going to sacrifice so much.
Well, here's the rotation. He's come top. They want to punish Zai, who's maybe overstayed his welcome. With 4 heroes coming top, they've finally managed to get the best of this Clockwork. But a bit too eager there with that dive, and the Observer Ward perhaps helping give them a lot of info as to what was going on.
That was such a good time for him to go there, though.
Yeah,
because I was just about to say, when you're against a hero like Terrorblade, you run that risk of taking so much tower damage.
Yeah, and it was kind of less about him making a rotation, him more reacting to OpTic getting overly aggressive there. So Zai instantly TP's back up top. He was like 1 creep away from level 6. That's going to make a big difference. It looks like with this bounty rune, he's going to find it and could find some easy kills here, although Rubik not the ideal target because of that telekinesis.
Well, they're going to take this tier 1 tower, though. This is going to be quite problematic for DC. This is pretty much giving up their entire jungle at this point. And I think Misery's going to have a good time farming their side of the map.
Again, rotations toward mid. Bulba sneaks his way through the mid lane, looking for the CCNC Storm Spirit, who was not quite level 6. And Clockwork in the jungle, running into the Viper here.
Oh, they want to kill CCNC.
Zai trying to...
Mid lane, though. He's going to get caught out here. Oh, they missed a coil, though, somehow.
Well, they may still get it. Yeah, they get the silence up. Bulba getting low, but doesn't go down there. The Storm finally picked off with the constant pressure there. Is shutting down just this Storm Spirit going to be enough? Do you feel, BSJ? Do they need to do more? Is this early game? How's it going for DC?
I think that counter rotation was exactly what they needed in the safe lane, but this isn't last patch, but there's all these extra creeps going on the mid lane here, utilizing that to get on the profit, shutting down that push.
They instantly lift him out though, so it looks like MSS should be able to survive his way through this one. And
if this stops the push, and I think that's the most important thing, because as a mid laner, when you fall behind like this, like you said, they're already shutting him down, but if they keep the tower alive, then he'll still have the space to recover, because it makes it, they don't lose map control even though he is dying. And this is kind of the story of the mid lane this patch, with all the denies changes. One hero is going to be 2 levels ahead of the other, but this isn't last patch where there's all these extra creeps, so having the side lanes go as well as they do for OpTic, I definitely think it's not enough to just shut down the Storm Spirit.
yeah. Yeah, all those denies have given this puck a big experience advantage, but Storm's being able to at least still get level 6, can fall into that jungle a bit. And these side lanes are looking pretty good for OpTic. They didn't quite get that tier 1 bottom tower with the Terrorblade Metamorph, Nature's Prophet throwing the ultimate to try and slow down that push, but it is OpTic really putting a lot more pressure on these lanes. They took the top tier 1, they almost took down bottom, and they've kind of set themselves up to have a lot of vision around this bottom area.
They're all grouped up down here.
Yeah,
I think they're
Clockwork
looking
has
to smoke.
hook in a couple of seconds too, maybe looking for this Viper.
Oh, Mason, he's hiding away. See if they can find him here. He's going to TP out. I think he's gone.
Steeping to his tier 1. Perhaps feeling a push might be coming in.
Even though they changed Viper's W, he's kind of the same hero that he used to always be, where he wants to fight you. He wants you to just run into him and basically die on him. And he's a hero that doesn't flash farm. He does farm faster than he used to, but I think that you're seeing the way OpTic's playing, they're just trying to dodge. They're just like, they're pressuring towers only for the purpose of making DC deal with it. And I think that because of the way the late game plays out, where Storm Spirit and Terrorblade can just out-farm the heroes of DC, that DC's on a timer here, and I don't exactly know what they want to do with this Viper, because he's kind of scared to go into towers because they have a way of killing him, but at the same time he can't flash farm and keep up with the Storm and Terrorblade, so this just makes it very difficult. And you're seeing here, DC feels pressured to do something. They're smoking up to it.
Yeah. Yeah, they smoke up. Slider's only level 3 here, but Puck with a Veil can do a lot of damage here, so Coil could easily set up that Slider to get in nice and close for a crush. They're going to find a Courier, not really perhaps the ideal target to go for here. PPD also not really the ideal target, but they may just take what they can get. Bulba doesn't have the sprint for a couple of seconds here. We'll get this done, and that's going to be an easy pick-off. Nature's Prophet even coming down for it, and yeah, there's the TP. Misery says this is not a lane we can mess around with. We can give up this tower if we pressure them elsewhere on the map, like this mid lane.
But still, it feels like DC are playing very reactionary right now. This is still space for CCNC to catch up, and Puck needs a lot more if he's going to snowball and carry DC throughout this mid game.
Yeah, it's something mentioned that this late game with Storm Terrorblade looks definitely the scarier of the two. The hookshot not going to land from Zeiss. He was looking for Demon there. Will not be able to chase him down with that missed hook, and Storm was ready to follow it up, but the retreat is now on, and this Invis rune is not going to be claimed by Zai, I can only imagine. There we go. Bulba picks it up after stunning up Zai. Zai's pretty tanky with the strength treads, but not sure they've got the ability to get him out of there. The Coil going to pop. He's just trying to run his way. And with another battery assault, he may be close to surviving this one. Bulba going to take a lot of damage from this if he's not careful. Mason trying to chase him down. Needs one more right click. The TP coming in from Prophet and Zai. Viper striked up with the Grave is going to get ticked away. The Magic Wand charge is not going to be expended, as this is a nice little kill to get, but top lane OpTic always seem to be finding a trade somewhere on the map anytime they're losing a hero.
That was actually kind of rough for DC, having to spend that much time chasing down the Clockwork. Like you said, they're looking for trades at the same time, and this tier 2 tower is almost going down. I think it's definitely going down. There's 2 catapults.
Yep. Double catapult, and we'll see if Puck can get a deny in. Doesn't do it. Misery gets the last hit. That is perhaps concerning with all the tower gold going their way. Definitely an early game DC needed to win because of the nature of OpTic having this stronger late game.
Yeah, you're seeing how much damage they're lacking. They're stuck using 3 or 4 heroes to get kills, and that's exactly what OpTic game is doing. They're just trying to pressure towers, not for the sake of taking map control themselves, but for basically forcing DC to chase them around and playing this reactionary game. And since they have superior split push on the side of OG, or on the side of OpTic, that they are favored late game, because they both are playing this pickoff game with the Prophet and the Puck, and then the Terrorblade and the Storm. And one team, honestly, the heroes just counter the other.
Yep.
Favors OpTic.
Do these item timings change anything? Puck getting a blink, Prophet getting an Orchid, both items fairly close, at least the Puck blinked. Is that going to create more openings for DC?
They definitely have this window where they can punish the Terrorblade and the Storm before they get their big items up, the Bloodstone plus 1 more item, the Manta plus the Dragon Lance on the Terrorblade. They can definitely have this window, like you said, with these items that they're going to hit, but they're going to have to really turn up the tempo of this game if they want it to change enough, basically.
And we've seen what Zai can do. It felt like he got this level 6 and hasn't been finding kills since getting 6, but he's been able to create space in the same way he did in the laning stage. Just room for Storm and Terrorblade to keep farming. So Zai, while he may have thought he would be getting more kills and having a better time with the start he had, is being able to at least still help out his team. And he is looking for that Midas, perhaps recognizing that, you know, we've got the late game, I just need to buy whatever items I can to just maintain some level of farm. And for DC, this definitely puts even more pressure on them, as they do complete the Puck Blink Dagger, though.
This is pretty much like the same from last game, I feel. You know, like you said, DC are very reliant on their pickoffs now, and OpTic Gaming, they're just going to farm away. I don't think they're going to change their formula now, so we're just going to have to wait and see whether or not DC is going to be able to change the course of this game.
Yeah, they are grouped up here. It looks like this is going to be a smoke here. They stop. Oh, okay. MS says, yeah, he can keep farming those Ancients if he wants. He can always TP in later, which I imagine is going to be the plan. Show them on the map so your opponents are less suspicious, as they do converge towards this mid lane. They will catch sight of PPD. Potentially not Zai here. The bigger kill is in the jungle here. Can they find Pycat? Oh, they pop him. They get the Grim Call afterwards with the Veil. They should have enough damage here to bring him down. Can they get the crush as well? It doesn't look like they'll need it, but here comes Zai. Oh, he gets the cogs on the 3. They are trapped inside here. The damage is going to be monstrous as DC will lose 3. Maybe even a 4th. Can they get the disable? They do. They catch MSS with the battery assault. He's going to go down 4 for 1. DC, not worth.
What a hook from Zai.
That counter initiation, that just shows like the game plan between both teams. The OpTic just has such good counter initiation between the Dazzle for saves and the Clockwork. I mean, obviously that was a sick hook play and the 3-man cogs. But they just have to expend so much to kill one hero on the side of DC that their rotations are honestly quite predictable in regards to maybe they don't know where they're going to be, but you know that OpTic Gaming is ready to respond with everybody. And that's exactly what they did the minute they saw Pycat get going.
Feels like anytime DC gets something, there's a better trade for OpTic. Like DC are the ones making the plays, but OpTic are the ones just making the better responses. Speaking of responses, Enchantress has just said, I'm just going to farm this game. Like, Misery was casually like top 2 net worth there, drops a little bit, but with this Midas, he's already hit level 10. He is insanely farmed as an Ench.
That is scary to a late game, but do not mistake. That is a support. She deals probably the most damage out of any support in the game, and she doesn't farm enough, so the Midas just kind of secured that she'll...
Top lane, they're going in on MSS with CCNC Storm Spirit, solo kill, going CCNC's way. May pay for this with his light bulb there, but no follow-up. Not sure Bulba can get this kill. CCNC should just be able to turn and fight without any additional rotations. It's mid lane meanwhile where the Viper has been gone on Zai again. Finding these initiations but unable to follow it up with the creep wave there to protect against the battery assault. Back to top lane, CCNC being chased down. Quake's there now and this should be a kill as Bulba gets the last hit to bring down the Storm. A nice 481 gold bounty, at least going to be some kind of a consolation prize. And also get Bulba his Blink Dagger. So not only the Puck but also the Slaughter with Blink now.
That was a really important kill for them, getting that. For Boba, like you said, now that they have a Blink Dagger, they have more avenues back into this game. You know, he's not only reliant on the Puck anymore, he can also find kills by himself and set it up for MSS to TP in.
They just smoked under a Dire Ward. The scan then scattered them out. They may know, yeah, they instantly Rocket Flare rush. They know this is going on. Will OpTic commit to this?
They don't seem to care.
I think there was a stolen Rocket Flare from Rubik. They care a bit more now as they realize, yeah, this is probably not the best. The Blink Dagger on Slaughter makes this even more problematic. What isn't up yet is MSS's Orchid. That feels like an essential item. If you want to go in this Terrorblade and he gets Grave, you need to have perhaps a silence to stop that Sunder coming out.
I can't believe how rich this Enchantress is. She has more farm than CCNC and...
Yeah.
I mean, that's really scary for the line of DC. They don't have the physical burst damage other than from Viper's W to break her passive. To actually bring her down at any stage in the game. They obviously have the Puck burst, but at some point Enchantress is going to have to help that does not bring her down.
Yep. We'll see if Puck can keep up. Has got a potential Dagon queued up. Maybe it's going to be a Yule Scepter, but just the Staff of Wizardry for now. Maybe trying to make up for some of that lacking damage, but Quakefa off to a good start. Top of the net worth, as perhaps he should be with all the help, because this is the hero that DC have decided to prioritize in terms of farm. They left the Viper kind of on his own. There's a gank maybe coming in here. Storm and Clockwork could kill this Puck. They're trying to bait out the orb here. If he uses this orb, he could be in trouble, but goes for the silence instead. Quakefa. Oh, okay. MSS behind, drops a ward. Okay, this...
That was really good awareness that he did.
Yeah. If he did, I think it very likely would have been a kill. They may actually try and go on Zai themselves. They've got the lane ward here, but no, they're too close to a tier 1 tower, they decide.
It's a little too risky. They're right next to the tier 1 and they don't feel very comfortable, especially since, you know, you've seen what they can do in terms of reaction.
Yeah. Instead, it's going to be a 3-man smoke from the mid lane. Slaughter, Rubik, and Viper, knowing that they can have Nature's Prophet appear anywhere on the map, but in fact, already in position at this top lane, and I'd say most importantly, they've got the Observe Ward there, so they have decent vision around the area. Definitely a good idea to fight around that vision, but it's OpTic themselves with a lot of vision scattered around the map. 3 Observer Wards, Rocket Flare. They seem to sense what's going on because they are playing very defensively here. They're not even hanging around that tier 1 tower. They backed all the way back to their tier 2.
Yeah, I think it's kind of obvious considering that no one is showing himself on the map right now. And I think at this point they're kind of used to their playstyle, so they have expectations of what's going to be happening.
Now they've seen each other too. Slaughter, smoke was popped, got pinged out. Meanwhile, the Dire Ward in the mid lane sees out OpTic Gaming's heroes, Rocket Flares flying around. Both teams with really good vision of the other, so making it difficult for either team to get the initiation. More DC, because DC's the ones looking to play the early to mid game and be the aggressors. They're playing against, what, 2 Midases right now, and a Terrorblade Storm that are also farming, so they don't want to sit back and farm.
Yeah, if this goes into a stagnant farm game, that definitely favors OpTic. And you see they know that themselves by going to double Midas and run the clock, which I didn't expect myself. But if they're able to secure the late game on those 2 heroes, because most of the farm on the map is going to be taken by the Storm and the Terrorblade, so those 2 heroes will be relevant later on. I really like that adjustment on the side of OpTic.
Yeah. It feels like DC, even though they were down like 3 to 4k gold, are actually maybe stronger as well right now because of the fact Midases are in play. They've got Puck, Slaughter with Blink Daggers.
Oh, absolutely. And you see that OpTic, while they're playing on the defensive, where they don't want to lose all their buildings, they are not trying to fight. They are not looking to take any engagement. And DC are the ones, like you said, they're trying to force the engagements, force the tempo of the game. As long as OpTic plays this cat and mouse type game, I think as long as they can keep this going without getting too many kills like this one on Stormspear.
Yeah, that's a tough one, but it kind of is a numbers thing where for DC there's a certain quota of kills they need to keep on getting. They can't just get that 1 kill and say, oh, we're fine now. They need to turn that into towers, into Roche, into more pickoffs over the next 5-10 minutes. So we'll see where DC look to go, because they need to punish this OpTic greed right now.
Yeah, I think they're going to need a lot more than that. And I think OpTic, they're almost ready to fight. I think as soon as they finish the Bloodstone on Storm and the Manta Dragonlance on the Terrorblade, I think they have all the tools they need to just run over DC. I think it'll be more than enough to take a fight.
Yeah, this Manta's going to make it a lot trickier for them to use these silences to combat the Terrorblade. There is some potential to just burst him down before he can even...
Definitely.
Before he can even get graved, you know? Puck with a Dagon suddenly... Is this a Dagon or is this going to be something else on the...
I hope it's a Dagon.
Yeah, it's a Dagon. I was about to say, it could be a Yule Scepter, but yeah, I like the Dagon better. Just burst him down before he can even get graved. Could give you a way to deal with him. But not...
Definitely some really good optimization there. He knows exactly OpTic Gaming's plan as well as their way of winning team fights. And by bursting the Enchantress, who is very farmed as well, and giving that extra bit of damage is really huge. Like you said, to stop the reaction from Dazzle as well. Ench
is on 800 HP with Intrades. That's a dangerous place to be against a Veiled Dagon Puck. And they are in the Roche pit. Misery could just get bursted here. He's tanking Roche hits here. Needs to be careful. There's going to be a Blink Crush. They're going to follow with the Puck. They're going to instantly take out 2. No grave for PPD. Just not even possible with how fast they took those 2 heroes out. PPD should be dead as well. Gets lifted up so he can't grave. And that is a perfect Roche counterplay. I think they had the Trine in there at the start. They didn't 100% know Roche was going on, but they now set themselves up to take Roche themselves. That is exactly what DC needed.
Well, you were talking about getting him before he can Sunder. That was as fast as it gets. He just blew up, and it was Mason's Helm of the Dominator. He dominated a creep. He walks in. They see exactly what's going on, and before OpTic Gaming can even react, Boba just blinks in, and great 2-man crush.
Top lane. Zai could be in trouble now as well. Hook shot away. It looks like that may be enough to save his life. He's going to TP as he does it, and ooh, Bulba couldn't quite get the Blink Crush. But
I mean, this is exactly what DC needs. They got the Roche now. They're basically turning the map control in their favor. You talked about the item timings. They've hit the Blink Dagon on Puck. The Slaughter has his Blink. The Nature's Prophet has his Orchid. It's hard for OpTic to split up and farm like they want to. And if they can't split up and farm, DC has an Aegis. I think this game is definitely going in their favor. This is exactly what they need to keep doing, I think, is the main thing that we were talking about. It is not enough that they've gotten these kills. If they keep this up, that is exactly how they're going to win this game.
Yeah. Like we even see Puck going for the spell amp instead of the plus 50 damage. I feel like that isn't even that common on Pucks, but with the Dagon, he's going to get extreme value out of this. Down the mid lane go OpTic. They're smoked up. Interesting, they are the ones being the aggressors. They're going to ball in from afar. They're trying to catch him by surprise. Does not get the TP cancel, though. Oh, just out in time.
They realize they can't split up and farm anymore, so that's why I think they're just trying to open up the space somehow. Look for a kill, with the Bloodstone on Storm. Anything that they can get to open up space to farm, because right now they're a huge threat of dying.
Oh, in the bottom lane again. Another gank eluded by DC as Puck orbs himself out of there, and feels like OpTic are grouping up because of that, but they need to be careful because DC may be running their way soon. With this Aegis in hand, they're going to scan them, they know where they are. Could lead into potential aggression here. Bulba's now got a Force Staff to go with his Blink Dagger, and they're going to use this Viper in the front lines as bait in the mid lane, but it seems more like bottom lane where OpTic Gaming for now are focused.
And all of a sudden we find ourselves on the other side of the game, where DC was originally 5-manning trying to find kills. tables have turned. OpTic is now 5-manning, and DC are using the strength of the Nature's Prophet to split push the map and just split farm or split push now.
Definitely still a scary Terrorblade with this Manta Dragon Lance, and that's maybe where OpTic are going to feel like they can go for this 5-man. Mason in the front lines here, going to pose a big threat here as the Ball Lightning goes in there looking for the Sada. They try and go and Bulba first, but they instantly lose Terrorblade again, blowing up before the Grave can come out. Demon in the front lines is caught up, but he's A-okay for the time being. The Grave going to help keep Zai alive for a little bit longer, should die once that Grave ends, and will do so. That's 3 dead without a single kill picked up by OpTic. A 4th goes their way, the TP out from PPD. He's like, I did all I could, got a Grave up, but this Dazzle TB has been very much negated by the way DC have played. No Grave Suns is yet to happen this game.
Great itemization and play style by DC. Not only are they itemizing correctly, but you saw they just instantly jumped together and used all of their damage on the Terrorblade. That requires really good coordination as well as communication. You're seeing that they understand exactly what OpTic Gaming needs, and they're just countering it. See what they're doing.
Even after those 4 kills, they were instantly hunting CC in the top lane, TPing up there to try and find him. But he's back to safety as DC perhaps in a position to push forward now. Still a little bit of time left on this Aegis, so good couple of minutes. So they likely can get at least a tier 2 tower, maybe even more out of this. Another tower at the top lane that could be gone for as well after they take out mid.
Yeah, that was some very impressive team fighting from DC. They're just making it so difficult for Pycat to make a decision on whether he wants to continue or not. They chip away at him, and hookshot comes in.
They go on the Viper, maybe not the best target with the Aegis, and Zai could get punished, but they're going to fold up with a Metamorph. Storm going to go balling in as well. Zai getting low here. They're going in on Rubik. Can they bring him down to start things off here? Mason going to turn and fight, takes out Zai, not quite yet, barely gets the kill here. He's on the high ground and getting the stun. Bulba catches out too, but needs some backup here. Here it comes. It's going to be MSS coming with the Shadow Blade. They need one more right click. They bring down CC&C. Pycat does get the Grave Sunder off, helping bring Mason low, but Mason on the high ground is going to be A-okay, and Pycat, no more Sunder brought down. They get the team wipe. It's a 5-for-1. All they get is a Rubik as well as an Aegis, but that is exactly what that Aegis is there for, as DC crush a team fight. What happened there?
Just looks like this is a little too much for them to deal with. Like they, after winning that Roshan fight, just by picking up a couple of items and having the Aegis on hand, they committed so much to killing off the Viper once, and not having anything else to deal with the rest of the team is definitely going to be the downfall of your team fight.
Yeah, that's just the Aegis factor in a game like this, where we talked about how DC's just going to try to jump you and burst you all down. So if they don't jump first like Zai did in that team fight, then they're just going to get jumped themselves. So they feel forced to jump, they kill the Viper, but he has Aegis, so he just comes back alive, and now they are in the opposite spot that we saw early on in the game, where DC was having to expend 4 heroes to kill 1, and now it's going the opposite way for OpTic Gaming, because DC, like you said, just has the extra items.
Did DC get kind of too greedy this game, or should they have, I'm sorry, OpTic get too greedy this game? Should they grouped up as 5 earlier? Like, where did things go wrong? Because the early game we talked about going so great for them, and it's going to go from bad to worse here. They get 2 more pickoffs. They may even just GG out soon if they're not careful, because this game quickly slipped away from OpTic.
They just got out of that hand quickly. I feel like the Midas were a nice pickup, but then they proceeded to try to force objectives such as Roche and really paid the price for it. If you're going to go for the Midases, I think the DC came online faster than they expected and I expected with the Dagon up, and they weren't ready for that first damage.
Dagon 5.
Oh, goodness.
As a Dagon 5 with a 8% spell amp, he's even gone for the -5 second waning rift cooldown, so constant burst damage coming out from this puck. Well, that's pretty damn good. He even gets spell amp coming out for 8% spell amp coming out as well from all the int he's got, so definitely scary stuff.
I definitely agree with BSJ. In terms of itemization, I don't think it was too greedy to go for all the Midases, but if you're going to invest in that many Midases, it is definitely greedy to go for objectives like Roshan. And after they lost that Roshan, all the control they had in the game was completely gone, and DC just were too strong for them to take in a team fight.
So I feel like this game's kind of a different version of the last game. It's like the same story. DC just needed that one big fight to just take control of the map and stop the snowball that OpTic Gaming might have had.
Yep.
And in this game, they got it. They got that big Roche fight, and now you're seeing the effect. I feel like this would have looked very similar to last game, because DC's lineup just relies on killing these games. And OpTic Gaming, on the other hand, was playing very defensive last game with the Naga, this game with the Dazzle. And you're seeing what happens when they can just jump you and kill you.
Oh, we're going to see bottom lane. Yeah, they go on an MSS, the 4 stuff away from the puck, at least going to keep them alive. But yeah, it's constant pickoffs. Slider's even picked up a Shadow Blade now. They've got so many ways to initiate in, find those picks. Rubik's about to complete a 4 staff. It is constant kills. We do talk about OpTic. You know, they've got this maybe better, scarier late game. Storm plus Terror Blade, Enchantress scales well. Can they still get there? Down a lane of racks with this big a gold deficit, is it still possible to reach that point where they can turn this game?
I definitely think it's possible, but I feel like it's a very low chance.
I feel like they're in the opposite spot, but it's even worse than DC was early on in this game. They have to take 1 or 2 huge fights on the side of OpTic, and I don't feel like DC's really going to give it to them because DC has so much pickoff potential with so many different heroes. They have no reason to group up and give OpTic a favorable engagement, so it's definitely possible, like you said, I think, but it's more reliant on DC messing up than it is on OpTic getting the right players.
Well, and something OpTic don't have as much as they have this great late game is they don't have that big team fight, and that's perhaps something that Puck brings a little bit. I mean, it's not huge team fight, but Puck Slider at least give you some pretty good AoE control and ability to team fight better than what like Storm, Terrorblade, Clockwork do. What a very single target focus when you look at heroes like Enchantress as a support. So
you can just tell DC with their items. It's just honestly great itemization with the way they play out. They went back for bots on Puck to keep up the split push. They went for Shadow Blade on Slaughter. They just want to keep the pace fast and they want to keep it pick-off oriented, which I think favors them.
Yep. Well, they now smoked up, maybe looking for that killing blow. One more big team fight could spell a second lane of Rex, could spell GG for OpTic Gaming, as no Roche for another minute or so. Maybe another target and goal they're going to be looking for as time goes on. But for now, it is just going to be securing those shrines. Mid lane, meanwhile, Zai, very close to Bulbous Slider, but not looking to initiate right away. Vision, map control, heavily favoring DC right now.
I wonder if it would have been worth it for Pycat to ignore the ultimate orb and just buy a Hood of Defiance. Would that be enough to save him from this burst?
You almost rather, I guess, for me, it's like you'd rather have the BKB. Obviously, that's a lot more expensive, but at some point, you're going to need a BKB this game.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, and eventually, they're very likely going to see something like a Hex on Puck 2 if you need it.
All right, I got it. Hear me out. An Aeon Disc.
Yeah. That's Aeon Disc against the Puck is maybe the counter.
Maybe PPD should invest in one. That way.
Every 100 seconds, I guess. I feel like they should do it again 20 seconds later.
Oh, it's a 100-second cooldown. Okay, yeah.
That's what I don't like about that item.
Meanwhile, Dagon 5 is, what? 15-second cooldown? There we go.
It can stop you from getting picked off, and most heroes that have like pickoff have like really short cooldown pickoff, so it doesn't really make sense to me, that item.
Yeah, they've had a shorter cooldown that would, in theory, make sense as a counter to the Puck, the bats. They smoke up though. OpTic looking for a pick though. They jump right into the tree, and Zai could not find the angle. And DC, recognizing they're maybe not in the best position, not going to look to initiate right away. They want to get all the info they can, find all the vision of these heroes, and Puck is also split pushing bottom lane. Does not have his boots of travel for a couple more seconds, so they'll give OpTic a bit of space to breathe in the top lane while they set themselves up to take Roche. Top lane though, here they go. Shadow Blading in. There's Bulba on the Slider. Wants to go in Misery, and that's going to be an easy pick. Quakever, 12 kills, 1 death, and 10 assists. He's had a standout performance this game.
And Roshan is now back. This is looking harder and harder.
Yeah. We kind of, questioned it a little bit here at the casting desk. I think Quakever's showing this here can definitely do just fine keeping up and dealing with whoever it may be. They get health items, well, I just keep upgrading my Dagon. And he's getting close to that level 25 even, where...
I want to see that new talent, but I think with his build, I think with his build, he's going to go 420 GPM.
That's hard. You get 25, you're kind of close to that 6 slotted, but... Picks up a Mystic Staff. We'll see if that's going to be like a sheep stick or what, but... Rapid Fire Dream Call is pretty hilarious.
Yep.
It's one of those things, maybe he's far enough ahead where he's like, let's just see how this works and how strong it feels in a competitive game. It bypasses the Ench Untouchable, you know?
That's true.
Slider.
Also bypasses Untouchable's Dagon.
Yeah. Getting a refresher if you really want to take that approach.
That's how you get 420 GPM. You buy a refresher, you buy Shiva. Who's going to survive?
Yep. Was that just second roast? No roast shot yet?
Just second.
Okay. Aegis Cheese. Yeah, Cheese on MSS's Nature's Prophet. Now is a BKB as well. He's going for a sheep stick, so at least one, possibly multiple hexes coming DC's way, and that's where Storm, TB are going to have a really rough time maneuvering in these fights. I mean, Storm just doesn't have the farm. Like, he's got a BKB, but how's he going to kill people with this BKB Bloodstone? Ooh, top lane could see an initiation here. Bulba can get a blink stun off here, but is kind of lacking teammates immediately for the follow-up. And this just seems OpTic's best bet. Keep going for this split push. TB's just constantly pressuring bottom. It seems they don't want a team fight. They just want to pressure these other lanes.
I think it really hurts terribly that he has to play this way, though. He's still only sitting on level 16.5 because of this. He's just never in EXP range, and it would definitely help him a lot if he was able to get his level 20 talent for 10 all stats. I think every point helps at this stage of the game.
Yeah, all the hell they can get. We'll have a Skadi soon. Don't really see any scenario where saving for buyback is a good idea when you're behind this much. Really is all in and hope for the best if you're in OpTic's shoes. But with an Aegis and Cheese, they're going to know that push is going to be coming soon from DC, where they attempt to break high ground. Maybe waiting for a key pick-off first, though.
At this point, DC does not care rush like they did earlier on.
Yep.
They're the ones out farming OpTic, and even though OpTic is doing what they need to do, they just need to get more items. DC is just going to gradually pull ahead, you see in the network.
Yep.
Every minute is just a little bit more and more. As long as they're getting more items, you see the sheep stick coming out on the profit. It becomes harder and harder for OpTic game to play team.
Yeah. They just got the puck as well, his sheep, so they've got double sheep for this upcoming fight, and perhaps the more important item for pushing is going to be this AC on Viper. He's in the front lines with the Aegis and the double damage, so could see some good chip damage coming out in this tier 3 tower as OpTic Gaming going to be pressured to defend now. Hookshot going to go in, they want to start this fight, they go in. Trying to burst out the puck. Oh, he barely gets off the phase shift. Can he get out of this one? The reflection is on him here. Qualifier can't get the blink out. He's dead. He bought the Hex as well. He does not have buyback here. Mason getting low will have the Aegis to play around. He'll be respawning soon, but Pycat potentially right on top of him. The Hex coming out. That's not going to actually get the kill on this Terrorblade, who may still be able to get a Sunder off. Does get it off onto the Viper. Viper needs to be careful not to overstay his welcome here. Puck does not have buyback to play around. Pycat looking to just get back to the high ground. OpTic have held for the time being. This Viper needs to be careful about going back in. No more Aegis to play around. Demon, okay, he barely survives. Somehow gets back to the high ground without dying as Bulba blinks in with a crush, then force-staffs himself back to safety. Seems OpTic don't have the mana on Storm to chase for more, but they have held their high ground with a formidable defense. A great call to just jump this puck that's been so problematic for them to deal with.
I definitely think that's a huge win for OpTic Gaming, being able to kill off that puck. Well, how much gold did he give out? Give 1,000 gold to Misery.
That's not too bad for an inch in the late game.
It's pretty good.
I always like to call that step one, because even though it is a great win for them, that's the best it's going to go, but there's still a long ways from being back in this game outside of OpTic. That is exactly what they needed from that.
Yeah.
Next time they have the Aegis and the Fresher Shard and the Cheese, it's just going to be that much harder unless they win another fight.
And while they hold their axe, they don't actually really progress forward because they get one kill out of it. They obviously
evenly in kills.
Yeah, they trade evenly. It's a very minor gold boost for them, and DC going to be right back. Maybe chip at this top lane, or like you say, wait for the next Aegis, wait for the Rose Shard. They've still got Cheese, or perhaps what they really need is like a pick off first, because just trying to brute force your way through the high ground, it kind of sets your opponents up. Puck needs to not get caught with that initial hook shot in, and this time around we see Qualifier position much further back. Glyph already being used here as Storm on the front line is going to be looking for that ideal target to go on.
Looks like they're still wanting to force this tower down, simply because they know that Pycat does not have Metamorphosis.
Yeah, that's a good point, and they perhaps learned some of the lessons from last fight with Qualifier getting picked at the start. He's going to change the way he positions and takes and approaches this fight, but bit of time goes on and Metamorphosis is now back up, and you can kind of see DC, as that cooldown comes back up, are also completely fallen back.
I think they should probably wait for Puck to hit level 25, just have him sit on a ton of gold, or at least fight with that new talent. I think it's definitely going to be the gold though, and so he could buy something like a Lincoln's or BKB.
I mean, if he has buyback there, theoretically, well, I mean, I don't think he necessarily wants to buy back there, but it just gives him a lot more security. If you have this long drawn out fight where you kill a Terrorblade or a Storm, you can buy back and try and win the game. Bottom lane, Storm goes balling in from afar. MSS gets the Hex off as well as his BKB, and CCNC The gem in hand will just get the hell out of there, using up all his mana for this one. Important to have this gem because the Dire Vision is what's going to set them up to get these pickoffs, not to mention this Shadowblade Hex initiation from MSS. So Storm, a bit more safe and secure because of this. Very defensive with his items, so BKB Bloodstone into Plate Mail. This is not necessarily what you want to see in your Storm 38 minutes into the game.
But I feel like it does feel like he needs it.
Yeah.
Even if you have damage items, what good is it going to be if you die instantly?
Sometimes in matches you just don't have a better option. In this case, at least in this new patch, the Shivas will give him extra mana regen with the change that they made to him. So it's actually a nice item for him as a sustain item as well compared to old patches. Doesn't make it much better in terms of, you know, you don't want to go these defensive items more so than like the Orchids and the Sheep Sticks, but it's definitely better than it used to be.
Yep. Oh.
And he needs it for the armor as well. Makes this hard.
There it is. Puck 420 GPM. He wants the gold. Scott. Yeah, he'll have buyback. He can now look towards that 6-item slot. Upgrading his Boots of Travel could be kind of nice when your Slaughter is shadowblading around looking for picks. And speaking of picks, DC grouping up for a smoke here.
I think he definitely wants to pick up a Lincoln's at least.
Yeah,
that would help him a ton.
Like the item that could really protect him. Even just blocking an Electric Vortex is going to be what you need to save your life against this OpTic side. To the bottom lane they go. This is dangerous. He is in the trees. They're going to find Misery instead. Instantly Hex here. Storm going to look to counter. He wants this Puck. Puck getting low here. Can they bring him down with a hook shot? It's going to be close to full stuff though. Puck, phase shifted up. Can he get the blink out? Looks like he blinks further away. Quake's still in trouble. Needs to join. Gets brought down though. CCNC does have a buyback though on the Puck here as the Sunder is not being used. He gets great. He Sunders a teammate. Oh, Pycat barely gets it off. He's still in a lot of trouble. He mantis, but he still gets hit by the stun from Bulba. One more right click. The volley going to bring him down. The Lotus Orb is there to protect him, and they're actually winning this fight. They've taken out 3. Puck buys back. Is it too late though? Because already DC are trying to get the hell out of this one.
Oh, they killed the creep, I think.
Okay, Puck can't TP back in. It looks like his TP has been used up. Mason's still here, but doesn't have friends. And step 2, and maybe step 3. I don't know how many steps that is.
I count as 2 steps. They were so ready for that, and they did that so well, getting that Sunder off last minute. CCNC was ready to counter-initiate on the Storm, instantly going on the Puck, and they almost bursted him, and they managed to bring him down at the end. They realized what the problem causer is on the side of DC, and I think you guys are right. He needs the Lincolns, or maybe even a BKB at this point. He needs something to make it so that they just can't do that to him anymore. Because if they're able to take him down as you start the fights, I mean, step 2, step 3, maybe step, you know, if they keep doing it, they're almost back in this game. Terrorblade's going to start hitting really hard, and heroes like Viper suffer against illusion heroes and heavy physical damage. That's exactly what Terrorblade is.
And theoretically, they kill the Puck while his buyback's down here. That could be catastrophic for DC. And even not having buyback when Roche is respawning is a really awkward, tough position for Quakefor to be in now. We'll see how DC look to handle things here. Plus 1,000 night vision. You talk about the late game Night Stalker. Bulba is waiting for that nighttime to hit because he now has very good initiation pickoff potential during that night phase.
That is a pretty crazy new talent. They gave it to Slaughter, and I believe Wyvern's the only other one. But a hero like Slaughter is just, as I mentioned in the draft, this is going to make it even harder for OpTic to get the jump, and they're probably going to have to smoke or have a sick hook to the side, which he's been doing a really good job of. Hitting the key targets in the fights.
Yeah. And that fight was such a mess. I mean, Pycat, it looked like he was in all sorts of trouble when he couldn't get the Sunder off on an enemy, but he quickly realized, like, well, let's just sacrifice a teammate. And DC don't quite get the result they're looking for. 25 coming soon on Viper. We'll see where he looks to go. Plus 120 damage is a lot, but Silence, you know, that's potentially going to be a game winner against a hero like a Terrorblade who's maybe stuck in place, or a Storm Spirit whose BKB wears off.
I think DC really need to start itemizing to protect their Puck now. I'm really surprised to see that there aren't any Solar Crest, Glimmer Cape type of thing.
Well. Yeah, they've been on the offensive all game, and I think you're right. They need to take a brief moment to realize what's going on in these fights and adjust accordingly.
Quick ball's coming out. See if we can regroup. Maybe just looking to... Oh, Inea's issue. 1 sec. All right. See, it looks like OpTic are actually grouped up for a potential smoke play themselves. PPD has it, so they know Roche's... Is it up or yet? No, it's coming up very soon, and Puck has no buyback. So this is where you catch the Puck, you could just win the game, or at least almost bring it back to even. Or you could just try and take Roche yourselves, because that Roche shot is so valuable here in the late game. Getting a free refresher on someone like Pycat's Terrorblade, having double Metamorphosis could be crazy. Storm, one of the best, if not the best, Aegis cheese carrier in the game, so definitely a very high value Roche for OpTic if they can steal it. It is going to be Viper popping the smoke on the high ground here. Pycat instantly retreats. He's not an initiator and does not want to mess around with that, and that probably reveals to DC exactly what OpTic were up to. Both teams posing themselves around this Roche, knowing that it is crucial for this game right now, and I imagine both teams will be a little bit cautious about actually going into the pit.
When I read those patch notes, I thought of Terrorblade for the refresher shard is probably the best hero in the game because of the double Metamorphosis coming out from him, because he's just a hero that suffers from a long cooldown ability that makes him super powerful in fights and super weak without it.
Yeah.
So OpTic's way, step forward, definitely taking down this road or getting a pick off that leads into it, and like you said, DC knows this, and they're putting all their resources around.
Yep. And you mentioned the Lincolns on Puck, and that is exactly what Quake has queued up. Getting it very quickly thanks to this 420 GPM. Doesn't have to worry about having buyback gold for now with it being on cooldown, so we'll be spending every penny he earns towards that item. He really wants to have it before this Roche, but OpTic in the pit, taking the creep that DC was using to scout. I don't imagine they want to commit to this one. Finding themselves caught in the Roche pit. We've seen how fast Puck can burst people. If somehow DC can get the Puck to burst some heroes without getting caught out himself, that's where things get messy for them.
Well, we're coming up to level 25 Viper. That looks pretty scary.
Probably the silence, do you feel?
I feel like the silence would be one of the better picks.
It's a 5-second cooldown silence.
It synergizes well with the picks as well. You sprout someone, you drop the nether toxin, they actually just cannot do anything.
TB has no BKB.
Oh, they're jumping in.
Wow, they're going to go in. They want to get this kill to start things off here. Zai's also gone in on Demon. They want the Rubik as well as the Slaughter. Bulba should go down here. They've taken out Viper, and that's 3 big kills right off the bat. Storm can't find more. They may be able to force buybacks here. We'll see if they go for the high ground or if they take the ever so valuable Roshan. I'm not sure if they want to prioritize buybacks. They are going to go for the split push instantly. MSS is TPing top, trying to break through this tier 3 tower back door, but he doesn't get the chance to even force a TP. Creep skipping is the Puck. Qualifier trying to take out those creep waves as here come the buybacks. DC losing so much of their lead off of this. Can OpTic take Roche though? It may be tricky with Metamorph wearing off soon.
It was an Arcane Room Metamorphosis, so he'll have it
wow.
than you would normally have it. It's only down for about 50 seconds compared to the normal 80 to 90 seconds, so it'll be, where DC, we give the communication, they say that they know Metamorph is on the Terrorblade, but that downtime is much shorter than normal. And these are the kind of games that make me question my knowledge of Dota, because the team that I think is winning is losing the fights anymore.
Yep.
OpTic was winning earlier on in the game, and the DC took some huge fights, and now I felt like it was the opposite. And OpTic was taking really nice fights.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, even if a team's behind, it shows if you coordinate fights properly, that anything can really happen in the game.
Yeah, definitely. I think we can definitely give ourselves a little more credit. We did say that OpTic Gaming did have the better late game. It's just very surprising to see them take these fights when they're down by like 13,000. I think if it was like 5,000, I wouldn't be surprised. Even up to like 8,000-ish, but 13,000, they're still winning these fights. And I think a lot of it is definitely because of that they are coordinating these fights very well as well.
We'll see where OpTic go next. The damage output from some of these heroes. Zai now having an Acceptor. Misery very close to his. He's going to start bursting people as well from long distance. Has hit level 20 with that Ancients being taken. He's got Prowlers, he's got Granite Golems.
That's the counter to the Fuck Day on Shan Granite Golem.
They're actually going to go straight into Roche. They know this puts DC in an awkward position. They don't have buybacks. They either have to take this fight or give up Roche. And I think giving up Roche to a Terrorblade, kind of as you mentioned, could be a really bad call.
They're going to play it safe, though.
They're going to instantly threaten to split push as well. MSS says, look, let's at least get these creep waves in the base, and if the creep wave gets in the base, I can then backdoor top lane. They realize Roche is no longer going on. Both teams with decent scouting potential. The Treants on one side, the Rocket Flare on the other, the Illusions coming into play as well. Perhaps OpTic with the slight edge in terms of vision here. They're going to scan them going back into Roche here. And that's going to perhaps put DC under a lot of pressure to do something about this. We'll see if MSS goes for the back door if he comes and fights.
Yeah, they definitely did not let them have this.
It might be too late. MSS is channeling the TP top. Looks like he wants to go in that tier 3 tower. Roche is getting low. Roche is dead. Refresher shot for Pycat. Is it? I think it should be passed over. Top lane, meanwhile, TP's coming in.
Oh, they canceled the TP.
Okay, can MSS get this Rax? He's getting the melee Rax. They're not going to get him in time. The Storm balls in from miles away, but he's going to BKB, try and force this one. Hex is up as well. There's the Glyph. He's not going to commit. He's going to let CCNC defend it. Meanwhile, back in the main fight here, they know there's no Storm. Storm has no mana as well. Blinking, 3-man crush from Bulba, but the follow-up just isn't there. He's got to back off here. Meanwhile, from the low-grade team, it snipes Misery. Oh, some classic Jimmy plays as he finds the kill. Zai just trying to hookshot himself back to base here. All in all, that's what OpTic wanted. You know, they get the Aegis, the cheese, the Refresher shard, I believe. Yeah, that's in the Enchantress's stash. I can't imagine Enchantress is going to hold on to that one. And they defend their Rex.
I hope they get the terribly, because that was my exact thought. And I feel like DC realized they couldn't contest the Roche, so they did everything they could. But like we said, they held their Axe, and this game all of a sudden is looking really nice for OpTic, despite the fact that they're down 13k gold. I think this is just anybody's game. I mean, it's looking nice compared to what it looked like about 10-15 minutes ago. So this game is definitely anyone's game. And you see PyCat saving a slot. I assume that's going to be for their...
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Well, that's problematic for DC to deal with for sure. It definitely, at this stage, feels like they need to just try and stall out this Aegis. I don't think we'll see DC making those any kind of aggressive push. Maybe they try and use some smokes here and get pickoffs, but they definitely don't want to take any big 5-on-5 engagements into this OpTic side. The only way that works is if they burst down the Terrorblade. We saw it so many times in the early to mid game where they'd take a fight by bursting PyCat before he can get Grave, but now he's sitting on like 3k HP. A lot harder to do so.
The later the game goes on, the more powerful that Dazzle Grave and the Sunder become. I think he'll take the Metamorphosis attack range at level 25, but I don't know if you've ever seen that 5-second cooldown Sunder. That's pretty impossible.
Oh, jeez.
You're able to continuously use it.
Yeah.
Man, but 300 attack range, that sounds ridiculous. He's going to attack from so far.
Yeah, he's about, I think it's 900 range, maybe 1,000 once he has that 300 range.
He's seeing on, oh, he's melee now. I can't, of course, check that, but yeah, should be about that.
It's 1,000 because it'd be about 700 with the Hurricane Pike plus the 300. I mean, you're sniper at that point.
Yep. And there's no going in. That's where heroes like Slaughter are just going to be so incredibly sad. You can't go anywhere near a fight. Even Viper likely melts. But speaking of Viper, a lot of farm on him. He goes for a plus 120 damage. So pure right click, late game carry. He recognizes that his team maybe lacks a bit in the damage with an MKB to deal with evasion. Oh, pick off on MSS. Can he get out of here? He gets the Hex out initially. MSS sprouts himself, but no escape available.
That's a pretty big pick-off.
Yeah.
You don't want to commit the buyback either because you might need it for this upcoming fight. And because he's dead, you don't have to worry about these side lanes as much.
That's why you pick the Storm. Late game dealing with heroes like Prophet, it's almost impossible to play a hero like Nature's Prophet against Storm. You can hide all you want, but it has such long close distance range that it's really hard to play around it. He has to TP out almost immediately, and you see if the Storm gets you one. Meanwhile.
Oh, top lane.
Yeah, top lane, the concept backdoor. This time there is no Glyph to defend with. Puck just going to throw out some nukes here. The hook shot gets dodged as well by the Puck. Nicely timed phase shift here. Zai still chasing. Once this kill didn't hit the Dream Call, and Qualifier could be in some trouble here. Needs another orb out soon. CCNC's there, not with that much mana to work with, and Puck will get the orb out. Terrorblade's there waiting, could get a reflection. There's the second hook shot, and that's going to be the kill on Puck. Down for 2 minutes, does have a buyback, and I can only imagine he has to use it. Oh, okay, not CCNC. Misery goes down elsewhere. Enchantress found by the Viper. This Viper hits so damn hard right now. And with that break as well coming out from the net, the Toxin. Very difficult for the Enchantress to hold her ground. Bottom lane, though, is where OpTic want to go push here. They've got double Metamorphosis. The Refresher in Terrorblade's stash. And the Granite Golem there to further boost up their health. Up from 3,000 to about 3,500 health on that Terrorblade. And there he is. Onto the high ground he goes. Pops the Metamorphosis. Try and defend this without a Glyph. Viper going in, trying to chip away. Doing a lot of damage here. PyCat needs to be careful here as coming in from behind is going to be Bulba looking for that nice little stun. He gets the initiation, takes down the Dazzle, so no Grave now for the Terrorblade to deal with, as Terrorblade has to be very careful, but he's chasing them back, doing a lot of damage here. The Storm getting low to start things off, has got an Aegis to play around with. Mason just carrying his way through this fight, doing so much damage here. Takes out one, and it's going to be full retreat from Zai. They've lost 3 of their 5 heroes here. Storm going to respawn and instantly ball out of it. Doesn't want anything to do with this. TPs as he does, leaving all those remnants behind.
That level 25 talent is a lot of fun.
It's fun. Doesn't feel that amazing though. I don't know. Do you guys feel it's actually? Like,
I actually think it's pretty good.
It's kind of clowny.
I think his old town was a little bit better, but at the same time, it is kind of hard to chase a storm. If he has, 200 or 300 damage nukes flying in his wake, so I don't feel like I know Dota at all. Right?
It's weird, especially
every single fight that I think whoever's
They caught him. They've got the Hex following up the silence here. He did not have BKB to start this off. He's dead without buyback. Oh, that is costly. He was 160 gold short of buyback. DC do not know this though. We'll see if they force the top lane. Glyph has returned. Terrorblade can buy back. Won't have Metamorph unless he uses his Refresher Shard though. We'll see if he considers this one. DC looking to push things here in the top lane. Yep.
That Viper 120 damage. It's pretty nuts, I guess, with all the attack speed that he has.
Oh yeah. They're going to glyph this one, but it's still going to go down to the Viper. With 8 seconds on Storm's respawn, they
missed the
back off and they don't catch the hook. That was the kill they were looking to go for, but does mean they don't have to use this Refresher Shard. They've got 20 seconds still before Metamorph is back up, and Refresher Shard will be held on to for now. Well, anyone's game, for sure.
Whoever gets that jump, if they kill the puck, if they kill the dazzle, whatever team, the dazzle's a super important hero. He's only got less than 6k net worth, but if you kill him, suddenly the Terrorblade looks a lot less scary, as you saw in that last fight.
50 movements.
Yeah, he's a fast dazzle now too.
Oh, you got that at level 20. Nice. He got the tome as well. I think, is he the only one not like level 25 on their team?
I think so. Well,
maybe he gave it to someone else. Yeah, Pycat's not, nor is Misery, so.
PBD just used it though.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
They could definitely use that Terrorblade level 25. They're looking to do something with the smoke.
Yep. We'll see if Dazzle can get up to that level 25 or not, but this game is definitely dragging out. OpTic smoking up, trying to initiate here. Storm just balling forward, very close to finding Bulba. CCNC has the gem as well, should he have found him.
This is such a tense moment. Even though it was a 14k net worth lead, like you guys said, the moment someone gives a successful jump, the game might just end right there.
Both teams' jumps is like insane. You have the Storm on one team, and then you have so much catch on the side of these two sheep sticks and two Storm reps. Yeah, this is both teams are on pins and needles.
Yeah, OpTic's kind of set up camp right outside the DC base here, as we'll see what they look to do with this. They've got a very strong position on the high ground with these ancient creeps as well, but the split push from MSS is what you've always got to worry about if you're in OpTic's shoes. Perhaps not as scary when you know you've got great catch in the Storm and the Clockwork. OpTic may just want to force this forward, you know, double Metamorph. They really want this Pyke at level 25, I feel, but not quite there.
They're just going to brute force their way up high ground.
Definitely possible. They weave themselves up. They're going to be very tanky with this, not to mention the double Ancients there. They can even frenzy this Terrorblade if they want to. Man, that tier 3 tower melts. Amp damage comes out. Pycat can just mantra it off if he wants. There's no split push threat just yet. TB going to press forward. The hookshot goes in. They want to catch the Viper. They push him back with the cogs as well. Mason instantly getting low. The Storm going to ball forward. Doesn't go for Mason. Instead takes up instant buyback. Mason dead as well. He's going to buy back now. Will OpTic press forward here? Impetuses go flying, almost bring Bulba down. He gets away because of the invis. Quaver goes orbing in. Dream calls 2, 3, catches 3. The Rax can just be focused. Another coil, or no, sorry, another hookshot going to push Quaver back. He gets down to like a sliver of HP. Can they bring him down? The Cogs is there waiting. The Cogs will get him. He's dead without buyback. Slider dead as well. DC, perhaps on their last legs here, they've got a buyback. Everyone, Mason's back now as well. This looks like the end. This Terrorblade,
gonna go
too strong. MSS dead, and that is 3 big carries dead. Only MSS with buyback. I don't think OpTic can do anything. They can refresh the Metamorph. Sorry, DC can do anything. OpTic can refresh Metamorph. It's GG. OpTic take the 2-0 lead in this best of 5 in a thriller of a game 2. Man, oh man.
Wow.
Yeah. That was... It felt like we fully got to experience the new patch as well, you know? Different items coming into play, some crazy talents.